Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you the last review of Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 22. And yeah, just saying that out loud makes me realize that damn, it's it's really been a long journey in getting us here. I remember I'm still in the process of reading the manga, so in that sense, it is of course a journey that is of course still continuing. But in terms of the anime, it just the way I remember this particular ending, it really feels bittersweet. We'll get into more detail with in terms of the future of the anime beyond this point, but yeah, just judging this episode alone, it just really feels bittersweet. Like we've basically come from season one to now. We've come all this way, and we've finally made progress in basically getting in learning of what's beyond the walls and what the deal with the Titan is. Like it's all been building up to this moment, and it feels so earned. It feels so bittersweet, but at the same time, it feels so earned, I guess is the right way to put it. It's just incredible. It's a very euphoric feeling almost, I guess you could say. Um, but with that said, let's get in the episode itself. And the episode starts where we're pretty much left off with the whole trial with the whole trial and in this episode it starts with the government choosing to it starts with the government just kind of deciding in order to tell humanity just the whole truth, as well as what lies beyond the walls, and one thing I really like about the reactions from just like the common citizens, from just the citizens of the wall, is that in far too many ways that very mixed reaction does mirror our current society, because it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter as to what source like news like this comes from, whether it's the news media, politicians themselves, or wherever else. In the end, we as human beings have unfortunately conditioned ourselves to in order to react in very specific ways to in very specific ways when it comes to news, like when it comes to learning something new like this, whether it's that we accept things the way they are, we brush everything off as a joke or impossible until it's too late, or we just let it control ourselves and our opinions. But there's never a sort of a middle ground where there's never feels like a sort of middle ground where we just stop and think it through and what exactly this means. Like we pretty much never, we basically just kind of condition ourselves to we always condition ourselves to in order to start thinking about it, but after a while we just kind of stop. There's never a point of ever trying to explore new territory. It's of trying to explore the possibilities of something or new territory of something. It's always just it always just kind of draws back to the same thing of us kind of just getting curious, but in the end we pretty much never really explore the possibilities of what this new information means, and it's always one extreme or the other, and it's always a trap that humanity just falls into again and again. It never gets to a point where it's like, yeah, let's actually kind of think about this. Let's explore what this means, kind of thing. But yeah, and I'll be honest, I know people are gonna hate my opinion on this, but Flock just in this last episode alone, Flock has already become my like Flock, in a way he was kind of building up to this as well, but Flock has quickly become my new all-time favorite character, because he just laid into our three heroes in a way that was harsh, but at the same time you understand where Flock's coming from, and in a lot of ways what he was saying, it was necessary in order for him to say that, because yeah, in bringing Armin back, it raises the question of what use Armin as a simple soldier has to the morale and reputation of the Survey Corps going forward. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a capable soldier, but it can't be denied either that Irwin did have this charisma necessary in order to carry the Scouts forward despite how many soldiers were lost. But the fact that he died along with those soldiers, those men, means that Hanji has basically now Hanji as the new commander of the Survey Corps. She has a pretty much even greater an even greater responsibility thrust on her now. Like Hanji has to build the like after what happened at Shiganshina, Hanji has to start from scratch and build everything up again, and even to a degree she even has to regain the trust. She has to do all that while also regaining the trust. She has to regain the trust among everyone else in the military, even more than ever before, and not even Armin's dream really justifies Irwin being the one who was left for dead. So I really like how this conversation with Flock did completely flip the script on the whole idea of a main character's dream actually being a hindrance to the situation. And while Armin and Mikasa already seem to have already feeling the consequences and have a very understanding have a very clear understanding of the situation, the bigger question becomes of how Eren himself is going to develop beyond this, and how he acts beyond this too. Because the one problem with Eren's character, and it's something I've finally realized, it's something like Eren was one of those characters for me where I didn't hate him, but there was always something off about him I never really liked, especially in a series like this. And with this episode, revisiting this episode and this material, it finally made it clear to me, which is that Eren, the problem with his character is that he only ever thinks short term, but very rarely, if ever, long term. And him keeping the secret about Historia's connection to the Founding Titan, while admirable, I think more than likely we can say is going to backfire on him like the whole situation with Armin did. Like, that's just a fact, I think, at this point. Now, how it's going to backfire, hopefully. Now, on the other hand, this could also lead to some great. Now, on the other hand, I will say that this also is going to lead into some great development in the future, which at this point in the future of the series, which now, and with that said, I want to take a moment to talk about the ending, because with this being the final episode of the season, it's a weird, bittersweet moment for sure, as it ended pretty much ended where pretty much the season started, and in many respects ended in such a way where if you wanted to stop here, you could. Now, having said that, it didn't. Now, having said that, it didn't end exactly how I thought it would, but it makes sense considering this would be the last time that Wit Studio works on the anime. And yeah, I've been kind of beating around the bush a little too much with it. With that said, let's talk about the latest news that basically Tetsuro Araki, the director of Attack on Titan, has more or less confirmed that a season 4 is happening. But the catch is that, as said prior, Wit Studio won't be working on it. And although Araki is already acting very tight-lipped on who exactly the studio is going to be, like which studio is going to take over for Wit, it also I feel that in a way that this pretty much also gives my theory about Production IG taking over a little bit more street cred, since basically Araki he basically worked at Production IG previously and has connections there. Now, obviously, going by that logic, that would also mean that Madhouse is a candidate. But from what I've heard, Madhouse is not really in a position in order to accept any large productions, or if any productions at the moment. Yeah, I more or less know as to the kind of gruesome details of what's been going on with Madhouse with that. So yeah, just knowing that alone, I think it's fair to say that yeah, I think we can. I think there's at least a better chance now that Production IG is going to be the ones to take over for WIT. Like Iraqi is probably going to try and fast track it to Production IG or something like that. Now there is still the question of obviously if they're going to take it or not, but again, Iraqi has those connections, so I think he can convince them in some way. Um, Now getting back to the anime. Now getting back to the anime, a nice little bit of progression that we get is that Shiganshina with basically Shiganshina reclaimed. A lot of the citizens who retreated behind wall rows were finally able to return home, and it's just nice to finally see that because it's something that aside from learning the truth of the Titans and whatnot, this is also something that the series has been working towards for so long that it feels so rewarding to finally see it happen. Um, Another thing too is that I like how even if it's limited to the Survey Corps, that there's a little bit more empathy now. There's a little bit of empathy now, a little bit more empathy that's focused towards the Titans, especially now that a lot of the people know a lot of the people know that behind the walls that the people behind the walls and the Titans themselves essentially share the same lineage. So yeah, I kind of even if it's even if it's just centered towards the Survey Corps, I do like how there is at least this growing empathy a little more towards the Titans almost. Um, yeah, of course that and of course the but of course I haven't mentioned another big thing about the episode, which is that we basically get the big reveal in this episode that it's kind of a flashback to basically the first part of season 3, where it's confirmed that when basically Grisha had confronted the Race family, Grisha he had no ill intention or hostile intention towards the Race family. In fact, as we see, Grisha himself, he was pretty much begging the Race family for help, and he was begging the Race family for help, in order to help with the restoration of basically Eldia and whatnot, with the restoration of Eldia, and to help them and restore the Eldians to at least some manner of former glory, but in the end, it was the Race family who initiated the conflict between Grisha and Freda. So yeah, the Race family were the ones who basically attacked Grisha, and it's again so yeah, Grisha, he was forced into a battle with the Race family. So it just kind of proves that Rod, he really was an asshole. He really did lie. He used his power in order to manipulate the truth of it. And yeah, so it's good to just get a little clarification on what exactly that meant. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.